Welcome to Redtastic. Story 1. It all started when my mom, 45, stumbled upon the devastating truth about my dad's affair. The news hit our family really hard. It broke apart the trust and stability we used to have. In her pain, Mom made the tough decision to divorce Dad, 49, and take a much-needed breather by temporarily returning to her homeland in Europe. Can you blame her? Discovering such betrayal from the person she once vowed to spend her life with must have been soul-crushing. Now, here's where things get even more complicated. As part of the divorce proceedings, Mom, with the support of her legal team, rightfully claimed ownership of our family home. The house had been her premarital property, and she fought to maintain control over it. Dad, naturally upset by this turn of events, protested vehemently. But the law was on Mom's side, and rightfully so. So fast forward to the present, it's just me, 23 female, and my sister, 25 female, living in our childhood house. We've been working hard and pulling ourselves together to recover from all the chaos and pain that took place in our family. Things have been rough, but we're pulling through. Last week, Dad reached out to me after months of no news. He started asking about our whereabouts, but I cut him short and asked what the deal was. Turns out he wants to move his mistress, 35-ish, and her child, 7-ish, into our family home. According to him, the house is more spacious, and the school district in our area is far superior to where they currently reside. Apparently, the mistress has diverted her attention from screwing married men to focus on her son, and wants to switch schools for the kid. Naturally, my answer to his request was a resounding hell no. My dad was undeterred and said I had no say in the matter because it's his house too, despite what the law decided, and that I needed to accept that morally he had every right to do with it as he pleases, that despite everything, the kid is my sibling now, and I needed to be more empathetic because he's innocent in all of this. I hung up on him, and he's since texted the day he'll be moving over with the mistress and the kid. I've sent some pretty nasty messages and threatened to call cops if they ever set their feet here. I'm still at a loss what to do. I know the kid is innocent, but why should I even have to put up with this shit? Update. Here's an update on my situation. So Dad apparently called Mom to vent his frustrations about how we refused him access to his house. Well, Mom channeled her inner fury and went off at him. I mean, I don't even know what he was thinking calling Mom up to rattle on us. Like, did he think she would take his side? Anyway, Mom obliterated him. He sounded close to tears when he called me back after that went down and was complaining about how much he has to pay in alimony for Mom and how it leaves him with next to nothing. He went so far as calling both me and my mom a-holes for not letting him live his life in peace. Anyways, I think he's no longer with his mistress. Well, that lasted long. Your father is only living through the consequences of his infidelity. He shouldn't blame anyone for his actions and the consequences that came with it. The law already said the house is your mom's. I don't understand why he wants to come into it and live there with his mistress. Yes, the child is innocent in all of this, but you don't even know the child. You and your mom are not a-holes, OP. Your dad is. Story 2. My fiancé and I wanted to do something small from the off. We made bookings and placed deposits about 4 months ago. We don't plan on doing anything ridiculous, just a short ceremony, then food and dancing. Guest list is around 60 people, which covers both families, a handful of friends, and plus ones. Very low-key, pretty small, and I don't think it's extravagant at all. Here's the problem. Last December, so within weeks of us placing deposits and making plans, my sister was left at the altar. She found out she wasn't getting married when the groom showed up to the church late, asked her to go into another room with him in full view of everyone already seated. And a few minutes later, she left the church while he announced that the wedding was off. Her wedding was significantly larger, with almost everyone on my part of guest list also being included on hers. And while we're not doing any sort of bridesmaids or groomsmen, except for my son as ring bearer, I was a bridesmaid at her wedding and went after her when the groom finished speaking. I had a phone call with my sister last week, and after about 5 minutes, she asked if my wedding was still going ahead. I said of course it was, why wouldn't it be? She said no reason, and then said she had to go. I called Mom today, and she asked why I was talking about my wedding with my sister, and said I upset her and needed to tone the wedding down. I thought she meant talking about the wedding and responded that my sister was the one who asked. But then Mum said she meant the actual wedding. I asked what that meant, and Mum began to remind me that she and Dad got married in their work clothes in the registrar's office with 2 witnesses. I said I will not be doing that. She then asked me how I thought it felt for my sister to see me getting married so soon after her wedding day. She wants me to bring it all the way down to me, my husband, my son, and my husband's parents in the registrar's office. When I asked why she and Dad weren't listed, she said they would need to be with my sister. I know this was juvenile, but I told her to put Dad on. I then asked him what he thought, and I admit I was fully expecting him to side with me. He then said if we couldn't get our deposits back, he would reimburse us. I said no, he's not paying us a penny because we are not cancelling. He then said it would be easier for everyone. I said I had to go. Texted my sister saying what they had just told me, asking if she actually felt like that, and she confirmed it and went on to say I was insensitive and cruel for going ahead with my wedding after what happened with hers, and that our weddings should never have been so close together anyway. My fiancé says we shouldn't let our wedding affect ours, and while I do want to be sensitive to her, I kind of agree with him. The plans were made and deposits placed before my sister's wedding. There's an 11-month gap between them. And while I want her there, I feel we're already going fairly low-key. And it's unfair they expect me and my fiancé to shrink it to 5 people in the registrar's office. However, I still have this guilt in the pit of my stomach and I feel really bad at upsetting my sister. I don't want to lose her over this, but I feel she's being unreasonable. Am I the a-hole? Information. To clarify, everything is currently planned for late November. And a few vendors have sent out mass emails assuring clients that they'll get what they paid for, even if that means pushing it back. And we're not doing any of the extra bits, bridal shower, engagement party, stag or hen do, so it's literally just the wedding day and then it's over. We've also said we're going to re-evaluate closer to the time, and if we do have to push it back, it will probably be to November 2021, so we can keep the actual date it's on as is significant to us. Update. Fiancé and I talked and we've agreed to postpone to November 2021 because we really want to keep the 21st November, as it's the anniversary of when we met, our first date, and when he proposed. But we're pushing it back just in case because we both want several vulnerable family members in attendance. Although the trade-off is that the wedding is now on a Sunday, there might be a small fee for rescheduling, but in general, the vendors and venues we have are really great, and have said they're willing to work with us. So we sent out a round of emails this morning, and 2, the caterer and florist have already confirmed that's fine and there's no extra charges. Just whatever's left of the code they gave us, which we now don't need to worry about for 20 months. The main confirmation we need is the hotel, which according to the website is free on 21/11/2021. But once we've got all our ducks in a row, we plan on emailing everyone and actually inviting them. Though it's probably more of a save the date at this stage and is probably a little early, but most of them are expecting November this year. I'm then going to call my mother, father and sister as a group and tell them that the wedding has been pushed back, not for them, but for other far more valid reasons. Make it clear that my sister is being unreasonable and this is not for her benefit. Try to get them to agree to therapy one last time, and then I will make it clear that they are still invited to the wedding. It's up to them if they come or not, but I won't beg them to come. And let them know that my brother will be walking me down the aisle, and if they do anything to upset him or me, or cause a scene, then venue security has been instructed to keep an eye on them and escort them out at first sign of trouble. I will then send a follow-up email reinforcing that they are still invited, so I have proof that I did invite them in case they tell people otherwise. Not the a-hole OP. I do feel for your sister, but just because she's unhappy doesn't mean you need to give up your day. That is not fair to you, your partner, or his family. I'm glad it works out for you to reschedule for other reasons. Hopefully this will give your family enough time to fully support you. It's likely that your sister will still find it upsetting, but chances are she will find someone to have a day with in the future. Now for some comments. She might have gotten left at the altar by a fiancé, but you're being left at the altar by your immediate family. If I were you, I would hold them to the same standards that your sister is holding her ex to. Let them know how it feels to be the bad guy in the situation, the same way they view her ex and now you. Not the a-hole. You have to put your happiness aside for your sister. It's bad luck that she got jilted, but that is not on you. Your parents are wrong for expecting you to ruin your wedding day for your sulky sister. She should be happy for you. She should plaster her a big smile, suck it up and soldier on for you. If she's going to be an a-hole because you're getting married when she doesn't, she can just stay home. I know this sounds harsh, but the fact is that life will throw plenty of crap at you in 80-odd years, and other people should not have to put their lives on hold to pander to someone who has been thrown for a loop. Sis needs to get up and go on with her life as normal, and so should you. The story is just wow. Your sister being upset, I get it. It happened in December 2019 and she's still hurting. Maybe she will feel differently in a few more months. Before I say anything else, no, you are definitely not an a-hole, but your parents' reaction has no justification. They should have been level-headed and handled things between themselves. Like tell you to maybe not talk to sister about wedding prep till she seems better, but helping you prep where and when needed, even if it is just listening. Their reaction is outright selfish. You should go ahead with your plans. Whenever you have it, either this year or next, and keep them out. They weren't planning to be there, so what is the point of including them? You should go ahead with your wedding. Story 3. So, back in 2017, I had moved away from my family for college reasons and was just living my life as I could while trying to maintain my grades at school. Not too long after, I found out my sister had moved there for a new job. Not too bad. She mentioned wanting to meet up so that I could show her around the city. Mind you, I don't know much about the city either. But I knew there was a river, so I decided I would take her there. Now begins the fun part. She told me that she would invite a friend with her. I agreed, not thinking too much of it. So I take them to the river. It's not too long, but there is a small island of sorts that rests in the middle of it. So we go there and there are other people there. It was a well-known place to relax, and it was a great place to relax. Anyways, as we were walking around, I had to help both her and her friend jump down from 5'5" jump down to the bank of the river. So I helped them out and caught them as they jumped down. I thought nothing was wrong, but I was so wrong. Later that night, I got a call from our parents calling me to tell me that she and her friend had called them and said that I had groped both of them. Naturally, I was fuming and nearly threw my phone at the wall. I was able to calm down and listen to the rest of the story, all while explaining that I did nothing of the sort and was only helping them. All the while, my dad was on the phone with my sister, wanting to hear her side of the story, which I might add doesn't even line up with the original story she had told. She literally messed up her own lie, digging her own grave. After listening to my sister's tale, my parents hung up the call and told us that they will visit us and figure out exactly what happened. So 1 month later, they came up, listening to both of us to figure out what happened. And guess what? My sister lies again, not even remotely close to what she lied about the first 2 times. At this point, my parents cut her off and mentioned what she had talked about first. After seeing her eyes go wide, they told her to apologize to me and that she has to make it up to me somehow. Don't know why, but her apology went along the lines of, "I'm sorry that I almost called the cops on you." At that point, all I could feel was anger, nearly yelling at her. I repeated what she said, confirming what I thought I heard. While my parents were still there, I told her, "Never text me again, never call me again, don't even talk to me. We may share blood, but we are not siblings." I stormed off, leaving a crying sister with our parents comforting her. I didn't know until later, but apparently my parents, though heartbroken, had agreed with my choice. So, am I the a-hole for doing that to family? Now for some comments. Not the a-hole. Let me be very clear to you, OP. Blood doesn't mean anything. It means absolutely nothing. It doesn't matter if they're your sister, brother, father, mother, cousin, uncle, grandparent, or any other relation. If you are being mistreated, if having them in your life causes you emotional or physical distress, that's it. That's all the excuse you need to walk away. Not the a-hole, definitely. Why on earth would she even do that? I can't get any idea on it. Being so heavily betrayed with not even a valid reason is too silly to even comprehend. In my opinion, you're in the complete right for handling the way you did it. Family isn't an excuse to behave like an a-hole and don't face consequences. If any, it's your sister who did that to your parents and you, not the other way around. Your sister did this, not you. Do not for 1 second allow anyone in your family to come into a discussion with a framing that you did this. Every time this comes up, you have to reframe the argument into, my sister and a friend worked together to create false sexual assault allegations against me. I will not have contact with someone who would disrespect victims like that or willingly ruin an innocent person's life, especially when that person is supposed to be family.